Hi guys, you're welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be making a skirt with suspender belt, or what we call pinafore. So if this is something you'd like to learn, please stay tuned to the end of this video. So for this tutorial we are going to need this fabric. This is the fabric you are going to use. You are going to need our fabric. Then we need our pin because we are making a pinnable suspender on the pinafore. So then we are going to need a hook, which we are going to use to secure the skirt at the waist level. Then we are going to need a zipper. So for this tutorial we are going to need our waistband measurement, and we are going to need the skirt length. So for the waist circumference of this person, the waist circumference for this person is 29 inches. And if you are making this type of skirt, you are going to make a gathered skirt or a pleated one. So I'm going to make a pleated one for this tutorial. So I'm going to multiply the waist circumference by 3 inches, by 3 rather. So multiplying the waist circumference by 3 is going to give me 87 inches. So now I'm just going to take my tape and mark out 87 inches. So this is 87 inches. So I'm just going to add 2 inches again to the 87 inches because we are going to attach zipper to it. So that's our zipper allowance. So I'm just going to fold it, notch it, and cut it out of camera. So I've gone ahead to cut out the 87 inches plus the 2 inches zipper allowance, that making 89 inches. So I folded it into like 5 or 6 so that my camera will be able to capture everything. So now we are going to measure the skirt length. So while measuring the skirt length, remember we are going to attach waistband to this skirt. So the waistband we are using is 2 inches. So we are going to throw off 2 inches at the waistline. Then we are just going to measure our length, throwing off 2 inches. That means you are placing your tape at 2 inches at the beginning of your fabric. Then you are just going to measure it down like that to 25 inches. But we are not cutting out exactly 25 inches because we need seam allowance, and we need hemi allowance rather, and we need what we are going to use to join the waistband to the skirt. So we are cutting out 27 inches. So that's what I'm marking out now, and I'm going to cut it off now. So I've cut it off, and this is our skirt now. So I'm just going to set it aside now. So I've gone ahead to cut the waistband off camera. So I measured 5 inches by, I think, 33 inches. Remember our waist circumference is 29 inches. But I added like 4 inches, which is going to serve as the hook allowance. Remember we're attaching hook to it. So yeah, 5 inches by 33 inches. So the next thing is that I went ahead to cut the suspenders as well. I cut it like 4 inches by, I think 4 inches by 40 inches or so, because I'm using the person's half length to cut out the suspender because she places her skirt on her half length. So, and her half length is 17 inches. So I multiply the 17 inches by 2, and that's 34 inches. But I cut it on fold, so 17, and I added like 4 inches allowance or so. So I'm just going to set that aside as well. Then I'm going to work on the waistband. I'm just going to go off camera now and attach interface to the waistband. So I've gone ahead to attach interface to the waistband. After that, I folded in half an inch on both sides, which is going to serve as our hemi allowance on the waistband. So I'm trying to measure it and see whether we're on the right track, and that's 2 inches, so we're on the right track. So I'm just going to set the waistband aside. So it's time to start working on our skirt, and the first thing we are going to do on the skirt is to hem the skirt. I'm just going to hem the skirt, and then after hemming it, I'm just going to join it together at the end like that. I'm going to join it together to make the zipper allowance. Then I will attach my zipper to it, then I'll bring it back. So I've gone ahead to attach zipper to this skirt. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to start working on the waistband. So if you are going to use gathers, if you want to use gathers, you are just going to open up the zipper like this and run a loose stitch along, then you're going to pull the thread. But I'm not using gathers, I'm going to pleat this skirt. So the first thing I'm going to do to pleat this skirt is to look for the midpoint. So I've notched the midpoint. After notching the midpoint, I'm just going to open up the zipper and take it to my machine to start forming the pleats. So let's go right to the machine to start forming the pleats. So we are here at the machine now, so I'm just trying to form the pleats, and as you can see, as I'm forming the pleats so that the pleats will be uniform, I'm measuring 1 inch for the pleats that I'm making. So I'm making kissing pleating. So as I'm making a pleat, I'm measuring it to ensure that okay, it's not more than 1 inch, and this is what is going to ensure that the pleats are uniform. So I'm just going to continue that while being mindful of the notch that I made at the midpoint. So I'll continue like that. When I get to the notch, I'm just going to back stitch, and then we'll measure it to know whether we are on the right track. So we are done with one side of the skirt. So we are just going to take measuring tape now to measure the length of it. So when we measure it, and if we are on the right track, we are going to go to the other side and work on it. So we are done with the skirt now, so we are just going to see whether we are on the right track. And as you can see, it is 29.5 inch, so we are just going to push in the half an inch when we are sewing it to the band. So I've gone ahead to like sew the allowance, the hook allowances that I left on the band. So I've gone ahead to divide it on both sides, and I flipped this thing over, the band over, and sew it. Then I turned it out again. So I've done that, and I'm going to set that aside now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to divide the waist measurement by 8. So I've divided by 2, 14 and a half, 14 and a half divided by 2, 7 and 1/4. The 7 1/4 divided by 2 is like 3 and a half and 1 stick of the measurement. So I'm just going to place that on the zipper. So after placing it on the zipper on the around the waist circumference, so I'm just going to mark it out. So after marking out on one side, then I'm just going to take the suspender and attach it to the skirt. So I'm already attaching the suspender to it. It was later that I realized that this is not how you're supposed to attach it. You are supposed to attach it inside because you are sewing it inside and not outside. So while attaching yours, attach it inside and not outside. So I'm going to repeat that for the other side as well. Now it's time to insert the skirt into the waistband. So you're going to insert it the way I'm inserting it, making sure the zipper, you start by the zipper allowance, by the zipper at the back. So make sure that it is touching, the zipper is touching the end of the hook allowance that you sewed on the waist, and make sure you insert it properly. You know we've already formed the pleats, so make sure you check the front and the back and insert it properly. So I'm going to go off camera now and insert everything, then I'll come back and show you how it looks. So I've inserted everything, so I'm just going to take it to my machine and sew it down like so. So I've gone ahead to sew it down, and this is how it looks. So this is the suspender, and I'm just going to cross it. Then I'm going to attach pin to the waistband and to the suspender. Then the next thing is that I'm going to attach hook to the back of the skirt to hold the waist firmly. So guys, I'm back finally, and I've already attached the pin to both the suspender and the waistband. As you can see, I attached 3 pins so that the client can adjust it the way they want, and I've attached hook to it. So I'm just going to take it to my mannequin now to know how it really looks. So guys, this is the final look. There's no light, so I couldn't press it. So imagine how it's going to look while it is pressed, with the pleating looking so good. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do well to like this video and subscribe to this channel to enjoy more sewing content. Till next time, bye.